Like 5,000 likes to this video, we will upload more patriotic news. Thank you. Shocking evidence uncovered about Obama administration and North Korean nukes. President Trump decided to find out what actually was happening between America and North Korea back in the days Obama was in charge. The discovery he made actually confirmed only one thing. Obama and his administration were never working or will work for the American people. North Korea's dictator Kim Jong-un for so long is attacking this country with different sort of threats. Trump had enough of it, and that is why he now is taking serious actions. Sad is the fact that the Obama administration has known about North Korea for much longer than we thought. It has been said that North Korea recently got the capability to put nuclear warheads on their missiles, but this is not true, reports World Politicus. There was an article, from 4 years ago, in which this was the main story. A new assessment by the Defense Intelligence Agency has concluded for the first time, with moderate confidence, that North Korea has learned how to make a nuclear weapon small enough to be delivered by a ballistic missile. Obama did not like this report. So, obviously, his administration tried to end it before it made headlines. Also, they did it in order not to look responsible before the public's eye. He never moved his finger when it came to North Korea's regime. The same regime that caused harm like nothing before. This information was of great importance, and Obama did everything to hide it. All because he wanted this to not look like it's his fault. This was, in fact, something that many people wouldn't be happy about. That is why Kim Jong-un is so full of himself. For years, the previous administration knew about his nuclear capabilities, did nothing and hid it from the public. Sadly for him, the current administration is nothing like the one before. President Trump is now dealing with the consequences of Obama's actions. But, it doesn't matter because he is willing to prove that no one, not even North Korea, can defeat America. Breaking: Marines ground all flights. The Marines have suffered 2 deadly crashes in the past few weeks. First, an MV-22 Osprey tiltrotor aircraft crashed during an operation in Australia, resulting in the death of 3 Marines. Next, a KC-130T transport plane crashed in Mississippi and killed 15 Marines and a Navy corpsman. As a result, the Commandant of the U.S. Marine Corps, General Robert B. Neller, released a statement in which he announced a 24-hour operational pause for all of the branch's aircraft. General Robert B. Neller, Commandant of the U.S. Marine Corps, directed the U.S. Marine Corps aviation units to conduct an operational reset for a 24-hour period where no flight operations will take place but no operational commitments will be impacted, the Marine Corps said in a statement, CNN reports. The pause also applies to the tiltrotors, helicopters, and fixed-wing planes. However, the unit commanders will decide when they will carry out the pause within a period of 2 weeks. This means that not all aircraft will be on hold at the same time. The Marines will still be able to carry out combat missions and come up with strategies that guarantee the pause will not affect the operational commitments. The Marines are planning to use the pause in order to focus on the fundamentals of safe flight operations, standardization, and combat readiness. Some incidents will be investigated so they can bring awareness and best practices to the fleet. Pauses in operations are not uncommon and are viewed as a responsible step to refresh and review best practices and procedures so our units remain capable, safe, and ready, the Marine Corps statement said, CNN reports. We can't afford more crashes like this. We need our Marines in order to protect our country from our enemies. Trump ready to deport Democratic senator's family because of illegal status. As President Donald Trump enforces new immigration laws or the ones on the books, the Democrats are losing their minds. They oppose every law that confronts their open borders agenda. They even go so far as to not enforce, or at least Obama did not, current immigration laws. Which makes the illegal aliens think they can do whatever they want and get away with it. Take the curious case of Kevin DeLeon, who is currently serving in the California State Senate. He actually said that half of his family is illegally in the United States. He recently admitted that his family has false documents they use to evade the law. His supporters and other Democrats don't want to accept the fact that his family is here legally in our country. However, everyone is equal before the law. Proud Patriots cites Kevin DeLeon, "I can tell you half of my family would be eligible for deportation under President Donald Trump's executive order, because if they got a false social security card, if they got a false identification, if they got a false driver's license prior to us passing AB 60, if they got a false green card, and anyone who has family members, who are undocumented knows that almost entirely everybody has secured some sort of false identification. That's what you need to survive, to work. They are eligible for massive deportation. I'm sorry, but the law applies to everyone, no matter their job or wealth. It's too bad that his family decided to stay in our country illegally. If they had all the documents, they wouldn't be facing deportation right now. DeLeon family committed a crime and they should face the consequences. Do you agree?" Video Katie Courics sued for $12 million lawsuit for faking anti-gun documentary. The number of mass shootings across the United States has increased in recent years. After the Sandy Hook massacre, where 20 children were killed at their school by a resentful, gun-obsessed shooter, former TV host Katie Couric decided to join forces with filmmaker Stephanie Soik and release an anti-gun documentary called Under the Gun. Couric wanted to show the American people that the right of the people to keep and bear arms is actually bad, because many people have suffered from shootings like the Sandy Hook massacre. That said, she took some liberties with the facts shown in the movie and lost all credibility. Conservative reports, after she handed over her footage to the editing department, the final product showed completely distorted interviews. The subjects involved in the interviews are furious. Couric and the movie producers misled the audience, and as a result they were sued by a Virginia gun rights group for $12 million. They claim she deceptively edited one of the interviews. Daniel Hawes and Patricia Webb, two gun rights activists, and the Virginia Citizens Defense League, VCDL, who were featured in the film, are suing Couric, and director Stephanie Soik, Atlas Films and Epix, the film's distributor. Conservative reports, the footage of the movie was manipulated to make the VCDL members look bad because they didn't answer the question about gun background checks. When the VCDL members were asked if there are no background checks for gun purchasers, how do you prevent felons or terrorists from purchasing a gun, the film shows there is a long pause as they sit in silence. It appears that they can't come up with an answer to Couric's question. If I wanted to make them look bad, I would have focused exclusively on their radical ideology. But I didn't do that. I wanted to allow them an opportunity to explain their beliefs. In hindsight, had I known that the NRA would focus on 8 seconds of a 2-hour film, I might have done things differently. But I made the creative decision and I stand by it, Ms. Soik responded at the time, Conservative reports. Although Couric apologized for the misleading editing, that doesn't change anything. You can watch below how the interview was actually filmed. I guess Couric got what she deserved. She misled the public in her movie and now she has to pay the price for that. Do you agree? Pastors shares incredible journey from rock bottom to devotion to God. Pastor Nicole Crank, leader of the fast-growing Faith Church, has something very important to share. She is the writer of the book Hi God, It's Me Again. Inside she speaks deeply for a reconnection with faith and relationship with God. Nicole started talking to John Bachman on Newsmax's America Talks Live. Newsmax decided to share her words. She on Friday started saying why she wrote the book. I kind of wrote it for that middle of the night moment when you're like, okay, somebody just tells me everything's going to be okay because I'm kind of freaking out. According to her, God is the one who can help you ease the daily stress and depression. You're overwhelmed or you're stressed out or you feel depressed or you feel like I've given 110% of myself and it's just not enough, so what do I do now? Or you feel rejected in love, she shares. Together with her husband, she operates with 3 churches in St. Louis, Missouri and West Palm Beach. Crank thinks that people should read aloud her book because it is geared on that way. Hi God, it's me again. I'm so mad right now, I just want to hit somebody, but I know that's not going to help, but I don't know what to do. So it's designed to just read that out loud and take you from the problem to help to the resolution, says she. It's basically an icebreaker with God on a topic, but it also gives some promises of God so that it lifts up your soul and gives you some anchors, some handles to wear. You might have felt like you were being overwhelmed in like an ocean of problems, so this is built to hopefully be part of a lifesaver. Crank is sad because sometimes people think that pastors have had cushy lives and that they do not speak from experiences. That is not true at all, not with Nicole. She adds, mine was more like one of those Kentucky Fried Chicken's sporks and a couple of the tongs were broken and it was used before. That's kind of how life started for me. I was given that by my father before I was born, adopted by my stepdad when I was 3. This woman had difficulties during her lifetime. Now, her church was named as one of the top 10 most influential churches in America. She continues with even sadder news. I was molested in 4th grade, and raped by a community service worker when I was 13. So I go into this new high school, rejected, alone, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to be popular and be liked. That means going to the parties, doing all the wrong things with all the wrong people and all the wrong boys. I became a pregnant, unwed mom at 17. Her first marriage was not so well either. Addiction from prescription medicine soon turned cocaine habit, then crack cocaine addiction. The violence followed next. Newsmax continued quoting her, I ended up in Florida and I was living in a hotel for cash. I was working at a diner for cash and that's when that was my first high. God, it's me again. And I'm back in one of these lonely messes and I don't want to be alone anymore, she said. And I really feel that God gave me the courage to go back and face life, face my ex-husband, face the danger of the situation and to come back into life and actually live again. That's what I see with people so many times. They're making a living and they're going through, but they're not having a life. Even though they're waking up every morning and there's a family and there's a job, but they don't have a life. And that's what people are really supposed to enjoy. That's what life is for, is to have, to enjoy, to have peace no matter where you're at. 14 years ago everything changed. Nicole met David. David was a worship leader at his pastor father's church. They got married and found Faith Church. They have about 18,000 active members. They also have personal blogs and share encouraging stories in order to help. Al Gore stuns liberal America with what he just said about President Trump. This country is dealing with North Korea longer than you think. Bill Clinton's administration way back in 1994 had the same problem. Back then, the former Vice President Al Gore was on Clinton's side, which is not today's case. In the past, North Korea had a deal to freeze its nuclear program. This did not go as it was planned. They operated in secret, testing their first nuclear device in 2006, reminds us Sidger. Currently, the relations between our nation and North Korea are worse than before. Its dictator, Kim Jong-un, delivered multiple threats. The one that sealed the deal was the threat for attacking Guam. President Trump, on the other hand, had enough of these threats, and a few days ago he delivered a single message. Trump has threatened North Korea with fire and fury like the world has never seen. Also, he on his Twitter page tweeted that the U.S. military was locked and loaded in case North Korea decides to take action. During an interview, the former Vice President Al Gore said something that no one was expecting. His intemperate comments on North Korea were really unwise, but reasons. I think it's only fair to point out he inherited this crisis. The previous 3 presidents were not able to find an adequate solution to the North Korea crisis, so he can't be blamed for all this. He has a Secretary of Defense and National Security Advisor, both of whom are immensely respected. I hope he will listen to them, and I hope their cooler heads will prevail, he ends. He, in fact, stood up for Trump. He officially joins the Democrats who admitted that their party got North Korea wrong. Susan Rice, also for CNN, stated, "You can call it a failure. I accept the characterization of the efforts of the United States over the last 2 decades. Indeed, we have an interesting timeline with North Korea. Going forward and backward for so long, unfortunately with zero solution in the end. Well, times are different now and Trump is the new president.